On today's episode of Locked On Avalanche, sometimes it's good to have a back-to-back. Mr. Sullivan, follow up a really bad game with a really good one. Let's talk about it. New episode of Locked On Avalanche coming at you.
You're Locked On Avalanche, your daily podcast on the Colorado Avalanche. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Locked On Avalanche podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, Chris Maselli. With me, as always, Mr. Shaggy Von Doom, Kyle Sullivan. Thank you for tuning in, making it your first listen of the day. Always appreciated. And make sure you're following us on our social media outlets, LLPN_Avalanche on Twitter X, Locked On Avalanche on Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky. Questions, comments, concerns, and opinions, LockedOnAvalanche at gmail.com. Follow us on our YouTube channel. Hit subscribe, get notified when a new show goes live. Make sure you subscribe to our subtext as well. Link to that's in the show notes below. And when you do, chat with Kyle and I one-on-one. We get your opinion, everything Avalanche related, which we share on this very podcast. And we'll get to our subtext people a little bit later as they chime in on this 6-1 victory for the Colorado Avalanche over the Minnesota Wild. Exactly what you wanted, man. Like this is... Like I said in the opening, nobody likes back-to-backs, but for right now, I love it. I love them. If you're going to do this, and the Avalanche have been very good in the second game of back-to-backs. I don't have the record in front of me, but I believe it's the best in the league over the past like 5 years or so.
I'll take it.
What? Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, you don't like them. But when you play a game like you did against Chicago, which I don't want to visit again, it kind of makes you feel that way. It does kind of make you feel that I was thinking about it. That loss to Chicago kind of just makes you feel like the NCAA, the basketball tournament, when you have teams going in and then they have the brackets up and everything. And it's like, here's your good wins. Here's your bad losses. Yeah. That was just a bad loss. It doesn't keep you out of the tournament. It doesn't make you a bad team. It's just a bad loss. And you can turn around like in 24 hours and play another game, which are usually very difficult to play up to, the hockey standard for a full 60 minutes. The Avalanche went out and did it. And they hung 6 up on Minnesota, who's above you in the standings. So you have to like everything about this game, where 24 hours earlier, you didn't.
Yeah, and it's night and day. And honestly, like this is like the Men in Black little like mind eraser thing. Yeah. Like games like this, it's a complete opposite. Like you had your A1 goalie in net. You had like Drouin came back, Sam Girard went out. And you had
come on now.
It's just the troll toll the team has to pay. But you got contributions from everybody. Everybody's fan favorite. They were on the board at some point tonight. Everything was working. Everything looked good. And honestly, if you crossed your eyes, took off your glasses or whatever visual ads that you need to watch a game, and you watch this one, this is what the Avalanche Blackhawks game should have looked like. Like if you said Minnesota was above this team in the standings, you would laugh if you were just a general passerby who has not been tracking these two teams, because Colorado owned that game beginning to end. Bogosian's goal is the only thing that kept it from being a rout.
Well, it still was a rout. It's 6-1. You consider that a rout, but and the one goal from them, there was just the puck was bouncing around. It was just I don't want to say a fluky goal, but I could live with that.
Yeah,
I could live with that goal. And I thought the way that the Avalanche played, you mentioned, the difference between how things were going between the Chicago game and this game. And in the Chicago game, like they capitalized on your mistakes. And in this one, the Avalanche finally got some bounces and got things to go their way. Namely, that Ross Colton goal. You never see that. That's the pop fly to center field where the center field doesn't even have to move and he drops the ball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what that is. And you never get those. And you got a gift. Great. And then even was it the short? No, I don't think it was a short. Let me get the goals in front of me.
Lucky got the shorthanded one.
Lucky got the shorthanded goal, but I don't think it was that goal where it kind of bounced off of I think it was the Parker Kelly goal. Where it kind of the puck, they're bringing the puck into the zone, and it kind of like bounced off Kiviranta's arm, and kind of it just like bounced off the defender's arm, and it went right to him, where he got it right to Parker. Like, you were getting bounces in this game, and I know everybody kind of feels that way about their team, watching a team. Like, you don't get the bounces, you don't get the calls, you don't get this, you don't get that, but everything just seemed to be going the Avalanche. When things are going your way, they're going your way, and I'm sure Seth over at Locked On Wild is probably thinking the total opposite right now, how nothing really went their way. And they're going to have games like that too. Just like the Avalanche have had games like that. That's the cycle of playing in the National Hockey League. Sometimes it's your day, sometimes it's not. And on the Wild side, they have a laundry list of guys that they are missing. So, and they're not going to use that as excuses, because you just went up against a team that was on a back-to-back. But they were ready to roll, because that game against Chicago, they know that's a bad loss, and they wanted to come out and I mean, this was a tight game. They really blew it open in the third, but you did I think the Avalanche played a very sound game, especially in the first period, where they weren't kind of like overextending themselves. They were just letting the game come to them. They weren't trying to be overly creative with anything. Just get the age-old phrase, pucks in deep, and win the battle against the boards and see what happens. And you come out with a lead in the first.
Yeah, and honestly, like, the power play is still ineffective. You're still losing the faceoffs. But when it comes to contributions and just playing simple hockey, like, this is the good things that happen. Like, going back and looking at that Chicago game, maybe they tried to get a little too cute. Maybe they just didn't find their proper. Well, we talked about Nathan MacKinnon passing out of those open shots, like trying to make that extra pass to really, get that cute highlight goal. I was watching the first 30 minutes of that game with my daughter, that Chicago game, and she asked, why are they passing so much? Why don't they just shoot? And I said, you want a spot on the show? Like, when you see the Avalanche play simple hockey, they could do really good things, and you get contributions up and down the roster, just keeping it like low key, simple, and letting the other team make mistakes. And that's the outcome that you got in this game.
Yeah, Nathan MacKinnon, 5 shots on goal in this game. Where I think it was him, Rantanen, and Lehkonen had 2 total in a game against Chicago. Like, that's not going to win you games. So yeah, you and we'll get to kind of the people who pitched in altogether. Did they lose that game, dude? Did they?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just got a notification on my phone where something with Notre Dame came up. So we won't. That's not our show. That's not our show. He's coming. If you're watching on YouTube, Kyle is upset right now. So yeah, but I thought for the majority of this game, the Avs knew what they wanted to do, controlled the pace of play, made life difficult for Minnesota, and had some really good opportunities. A lot of back and forth in the second period. I was thinking to myself early in the second, I'm like, this is like Wimbledon. I feel like there's just back and forth, like not a lot of shots on goal. In the first, there was not a lot of shots on goals. It started to pick up for both teams around like halfway through the second. Yeah, in the first period, you had 8 for Colorado, 4 for Minnesota, and then it was kind of slow going in the second. And it was just like back and forth, back and forth. You're just like looking like watching a tennis ball. And then the Avalanche just kicked things into high gear. And when they did that, Minnesota just didn't have an answer for them.
And see, the thing is, which makes it even a little bit more sweeter, like the Wild, they're a good team. They're a really good team. Like, and they have a really solid goaltender. For the Avalanche to hang 6 on Gustafsson, he's been really solid for this team and isn't getting the appreciation. I know I'm saying this about Minnesota. Don't pin this on me forever, but like, just putting in the effort, just the enough, just getting back to simple, clean hockey and giving that extra push. Like, the Avs stepped up for this game where they stepped down against Chicago, and you turned a really solid goalie, Gustafsson, into Swiss cheese by the end of the game, just by your shot selection and that extra energy and that step up. That if you got just 20 or 30% of this in that Chicago game, it would have been a different outcome. So it's frustrating looking back at it when you see such a solid. This is ignore that Chicago game. If you have Florida and Minnesota as your two games that you're looking at, you're like, this is a really solid team, and you really feel good going into Winnipeg and playing them this weekend because this team looks really good if you omit Chicago.
Yeah. Let's get our first break in, and then what works for the Avalanche is when you get games like this when everybody pitches in. So let's get a break in, talk about that. We still have our subtext people to get to, and of course, our sound checks. We'll do that a little bit later. All right, FanDuel, from big upsets to game-winning drives, the NFL playoffs are better with FanDuel. And right now, new customers can bet $5, get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $200 in bonus bets. Win or lose, the FanDuel app gives you everything you need for live bets, same-game parlays, and so much more. As this week is going on, you still feeling pretty confident about this Broncos game, sir? What are you thinking?
I'm still feeling really good. And like Bo Nix has got that swagger. I mean, you can't mess with it.
I just feel like Broncos are playing with house money, and they're just going to be a little bit loose in this game. So it's going to be enjoyable, I think. So visit FanDuel.com, join today. Maybe put those that $5 bet on the Broncos, and you'll get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed at FanDuel.com. Make this playoff season unforgettable with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. All right, sir. So if I had told you, if I had quizzed you and said only one Colorado Avalanche defender had points in this game, who would you likely say? I think the obvious answer would be
Cale Makar.
Right. And you would be wrong. And then you maybe would follow that up by saying
Josh Manson.
And then you would be right.
I was about to say, don't embarrass me in front of all the listeners, please.
Well, no, you wouldn't be embarrassed if you went down the line of Cale Makar and then Devon Taves. And with, not that Gerard puts up incredible points here and there, you maybe would say him third, and then maybe even Sam Malinsky after him. It'd probably be like 4 or 5 defenders before you got to Josh Manson as the only defender who had points in this game for the Avalanche. And he had 2 assists. And a +4, and take plus minus with a grain of salt if you want to. But that's pretty impressive and defensively overall. I thought the Avalanche, again, had a really good defensive game.
And that's surprising that the top line D didn't get a point when both Mikko and Nate scored a goal.
Yeah, no, they didn't. And Cale Makar was zeros across the board.
Trade him.
Not even he was +-0. Taves was a +2. There's another one I'm looking at right now. Everybody on the defensive side was plus something except Cale Makar. +2 for Taves, 4 for Manson, 1 for DeHaan, 1 for Middleton, and 2 for Malinsky. So, Cale Makar taking a step back. Apparently, no, he was fine.
And and to your point of everybody pitching in, I know I mentioned it briefly in the first segment, but Jonathan Drouin, welcome back again. Mm-hmm. And I think this is a theme. Like, I think we signed him for a part-time deal because, like, he'll play his last game. He has 2 goals, comes back. Hey, he's got 2 points in this game. Like, he takes time off, and when he comes in, he has 2 points, and he's about to leave when he has another 2-point game. But quiet night for Drouin, but he's getting points where he needs to, and I'm curious to see how this accumulates at the end of the year. But good to see him back, and if he's in the game, 2 points are there somewhere.
Yeah, no, when he's there, he's noticeable. Obviously, I just want to go back to Manson quickly because that pass he had to Logan O'Connor was wonderful. That was spectacular. That was that the first goal of the game, I believe? Yeah, that was the first goal. That was the lone assist on that play. Did a really good job of kind of faking out the defender, whoever was covering him on Minnesota. Actually, was going one way and went the other way. Kind of did like a punch stop almost and kind of just went to the right side. Totally deked out whoever that defender was. And just a difficult but really nice pass to Logan O'Connor, who rifled it home. I mean, we were talking about Connor Bedard's wrist shot yesterday, and that I had to bring him up. that rivaled that thing. That was a beautiful wrist shot from Logan O'Connor. So and that got him going. Like Logan O'Connor was noticeable in this game. He's really good on shorthanded, and maybe that got Josh Manson going too, because clearly he had a good game. So those two guys involved in that goal set the tone for both of them for the rest of this game.
And I have like a little mental note and pin on Josh Manson just because of some of the decisions and things he's done so far this year. And I'm very curious how he ends his year when we start breaking down like player grades. This might be one of his better seasons he's had in Colorado just because of his production, his play. And there's been so many games previously, years, where he's just been, you're scratching your head, like, what are you doing? Like playing too much over the edge. Like he's really found his role and he's solidified himself as a really solid defender on this team. And with games like this against the caliber of opponent like Minnesota, like I'm glad that you brought up Josh Manson and gave him his flowers because he deserves it.
Yeah, no, he's been really good. And then, the rest of the guys who kind of put up points here, it's just all across the board for your forwards. I mean, if you just want to go right to the goals, your goals, Logan O'Connor, Ross Colton with that one gift. And then he hit the post on another one on a really nice charging the net. I think it was Mikko who kind of sauced a pass over to him and he hit the post. So you had Logan O'Connor, Ross Colton, Mikko had the one goal. Parker Kelly got one. Arturi Lehkonen on the shorthand, and then Nathan MacKinnon made it 6-1. So you got depth guys in there, O'Connor and Parker Kelly, and then your big guys putting in the work with Mikko and Nate. It was just up. That's what you want, up and down the lineup. Make it difficult for the opposition, and Avs clearly did that in this game. You had, let's see, so you had more guys with 2 points in this game for the Avalanche than 1 point. So you had MacKinnon, Mikko, Logan O'Connor, Josh Manson, Jonathan Drouin, all with 2 points. So it's 5 guys with 2 and 4 guys with 1 in Lehkonen, Colton, Kelly, and Kiviranta. I will take that all day.
I think an additional little bit of secret sauce that really improved the Avalanche play, and this is a lot of my analysis on this game is broke down because of Chicago and Minnesota and what's different. The shot selection. When they keep it simple and they're not trying to like pass into that perfect shot, if they just take that shot and listen to everybody in the crowd yelling shoot, when they make that like that first shot, it's been paying off in that Minnesota game. Like when they don't overcomplicate the play, it's paying off. And like seeing Parker Kelly when he logs these goals, Parker Kelly is another fascinating thing over the story of the season. Like I love his play, I love what he's brought to the team, and he's like a mini LOC. For when he scores, it's not just a goal; it sparks like energy in the team, and the team like celebrates his goals. So seeing Parker Kelly back on the board, big props for me.
Almost had a scary collision, I think, with Kiviranta on one play. Kind of just was kind of turning and right at the edge of the boards, and he kind of went down right as Kiviranta was going over him, but looked really bad. But it seemed like everybody's okay there. Who else was going to bring up here? Well, of course, we're going to talk about Mackenzie Blackwood. Of course we do. But before you do that, yeah, go ahead.
I just want to throw out his save percentage.
Okay. Well, hold on to that. We're going to last break. But before we get to the break, though, 2 things over at Money Puck that I want to bring up. My trusty deserve to win-o-meter. This has the Minnesota Wild deserving to win 69% of the time.
Nice.
Yeah. And again, if you're not familiar with the deserve to win-o-meter, it just kind of it assumes average goaltending. So when you have a goalie that's playing out of his mind, you're probably going to be losing the deserve to win-o-meter. Not that Mackenzie Blackwood was, that he was great. He was great. But that kind of surprised me a little bit. And the expected goals for the Avalanche, remember, they scored 6. The expected goals for them was 1.9. So that plays a role too. So their goalie, your goalie was way above average, and theirs was way below average. to the effect of, out of 1,000 simulated games with average goaltending, Minnesota wins that game almost 70% of the time. But this is good. But this is what I wanted. We'll get the break in, and then when we come back, we'll talk about that and why you now have confidence in having a lead with this guy in net. It's a whole different world. So let's get a last break in, and then of course our subtext people and our sound check. We'll do all that next. All right. We love going to live events, whether it's sports, music, theater, or comedy. And we get those tickets over on Game Time, and Game Time has made it easier to get tickets for your favorite events with their new feature, which is called Game Time Picks. The feature filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. So you can take the guesswork out of buying tickets over at Game Time. Download the app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off of your first purchase. Terms apply. So again, create an account and use the code LOCKEDONNHL, LOCKEDON NHL for $20 off. Download Game Time today, because what time is it, Mr. Sullivan?
It's game time.
It's not Penn State time, tell you that. Had to do it. Are you sinking in your chair now?
Yeah, I'm sinking down so that you can't see the name.
All right. Yeah. So Mackenzie Blackwood, as each game goes on, you're just feeling more confidence in him and more confidence in the team as they play around him. And if you're watching on YouTube, the third bullet point I have there is confidence in a lead.
Yeah.
And once this game got to, when it was 3-1, you felt good. When it was 4-1, you were almost like, it's in the bag. And there was still a good amount of time left to go. And the way hockey is, and the NHL is now, it's almost one of those things where like no lead is safe. 5-1 and 6-1, you're completely fine. But even at 4-1 right now, you feel like the way that the game is going, and it's, about halfway through the third, I think at that point, you're back to having confidence in how this team operates with a lead deep into the third period. And it's solely because of what he made some really good saves tonight, really solid saves. Minnesota didn't press him too much, but like any game, the opponent's going to have some really solid looks, and he stopped them.
Mm-hmm.
He's just infused life into this team in so many levels, and you see it right in the ice. It's awesome.
And the amount of episode time that we wasted early in the season trying to shine up the Georgie save percentage number and saying, well, it's not that bad if you compare it. No, I want to throw some numbers out to you. Mackenzie Blackwood, his last 5 games, not a single game under 900 save percentage. In this Minnesota game, finished the game with a 960. He sits in the league right now with the 6th best save percentage at 918. Like, that's confidence. That's a save percentage. That is what he's keeping out of the net, and you could feel it. You had Minor for what he was decent to average, and you noticed it. You noticed it right away, and you could feel it in the team having to like do that overcompensating, playing deep. When Blackwood is in the net, you don't even think about the goalie. Like when a save happens, you're like, oh, cool. Like there is no dread when they wind up to shoot. You're not like, oh, please don't. No, you're just like, oh, you have confidence.
Yeah, you do.
It is so nice to feel as an Avalanche fan.
If someone can look up what his, how much has it gone up? What was his save percentage prior to coming to Colorado? I think it was over 900. I'm pretty certain it was. And it's difficult for it to go up a ton, but I'm curious to know what it was at the time of his trade.
That's a great question. I'll have to break that one down.
Yeah, or if someone wants to post it, please feel free. So, yeah, it's fun having someone in net, and I wanted to get to this comment. Here it is on subtext. Electrician Ziggy with maybe the dig of the century right here says, so this is what it's like to play against Georgiev.
Yeah. Ain't that the truth?
He's not wrong. I mean, like it was. You're right, and how like we were trying to look at it from a perspective of like, hopefully he gets better, and it didn't. And I think the Avalanche went long enough and had to make the move, and thank God that they did. You could have waited. Like you could still been playing this out, and San Jose was really in no rush to move him, but the Avs, they were like, no, we're going to do this now. We have to have enough games under our belt with a brand new goalie, and not have it be right at the trade deadline and only get a handful in with a new goalie. So let's do it now. And I give all the credit to Chris McFarland for doing it, but Tristan Ziggy's right. Like it was, looking back on it, like you didn't have the confidence in some of the, and I think about it a lot now. Like if there's a shot on goal that Blackwood saves, in the back of my mind, I am thinking like, I wonder if Georgiev would have saved that. And usually the answer is more likely than not.
Guess what? I'll tell you now. He's currently not saving them for San Jose. San Jose is asking the question, what are we going to do with this guy? Because he's doing the same exact thing in San Jose, and they're even questioning, why did we make this trade? This is not a good goalie. And somebody else is having asked the question.
Well, I don't know. It's because they're in a different standpoint than the Avalanche are. So I think they made the deal to try to reinvigorate him, come to a team that's not expected to do much. There's not so much pressure on you, but he's struggling there too. So I don't know, man. Why are we talking about? We got to talk about our new guy.
Well, you brought up that other guy from the game yesterday.
I did. It's all my fault. Other people on subtext, Cody, excuse me, says, good bounce back game, especially after Chicago. I wasn't expecting a 6-1 win on the end of this back-to-back, but I will take it. And it might just be me, but Blackwood seems to be getting even better lately. No, it's not just you. He's just, crazy to sound. He's getting like better every game. Mm-hmm. And once Drouin finds ways to get on the board when he's on the ice, so I hope he stays healthy because this team seems to be better when he's out there. Him and Nichushkin, obviously. So,
yep.
Good.
That's another name that you're playing like fantasy hockey when you're like, imagine what this game will look like with Nuke.
Mm-hmm. Adam says, nice to get back on track offensively. Having Drouin back to serve him up definitely helps. Team plays so much better with Blackwood and net. I'll take a 960 all day, any day. Avs fans were just wanting 900.
Yeah,
that's like the barometer, and Avs fans were just wanting that. They were wanting the minimum of 900. He's giving you more than that, so it's nothing but good stuff right now for them.
Yeah,
go ahead.
No, I completely agree, and it's funny to look back at all the conditioning and telling ourselves how good 875 was, and where you're getting 960, 920, 950 consistently. You can feel the difference.
Yeah. Joe, love to see good old beatdown on the somehow even milder Wild. Blackwood is an absolute beast. I did Tomorrow by Silverchair yesterday. So tonight, he's going to do Tonight by the Smashing Pumpkins.
It's a great song.
It's one of those songs that just has aged wonderfully. Loved it when I was in my teens when that song came out, and it was on all the time, but you never got sick of it. And through the years, still have not got sick of that song.
Nope, it's a great song.
Know. It's and a video to boot. That's just legendary. Heather says, love seeing our deeper line guys get their time to shine, especially after Makar's 4+ minute shift near the end of the Blackhawks game. That's true. Yeah. I'm not even going to read all of the Wild fans blaming injuries. Really? Like I don't do that. I'm not the guy that goes into the other team's message boards, and I don't do that stuff. And Avalanche fans are guilty of it too. They'll come up with excuses. I'm sure the Wild fans are doing that. If anybody can blame injuries, it's us. And we were on a back-to-back. So you both have excuses that you want to throw out. I don't think either one wins out. You got to go out there and play the games, and Avs showed up today.
And this was the first matchup that we've had, Colorado versus Minnesota. And I can tell Avalanche fans that's not the Minnesota Wild team of normal this year. So the Avs kind of did get lucky with their play and how the puck luck went for them. don't expect the same result when game number 2 rolls around, because this is a really good team. It just didn't show up tonight.
Sure. No, I mean, that's valid. I don't know. I just don't like throwing so much blame on one particular thing. So
No.
Lisa, that was exactly the game we needed after last night. Great job putting it away in the third. That Colton goal and the Selly was fantastic. The look on his face is just going to be a meme
forever
from here on out, because it was beautiful. It was perfect.
Yep.
It was perfect for the situation and how it happened. It was wonderful. And Ross Colton, I think, has the best celebrations. That one was like a different, on the opposite end of the celebration, but still like an epic one for him. Yeah, you're going to be seeing that like looking back and forth mug for a long time. That was great.
Yeah, that's going to be up there with Kale and the cookie forever.
Yeah. And finally, Kay says that was the game we thought we'd see last night. Anyway, are always nice to hand it to the Wild. Blackwood's the real deal. I think that's the next jersey I got to get.
I was literally about to say the same thing.
Oh, yeah?
I have his Devils jersey. I just need to.
You do? Yeah,
you do.
Need to
get that changed.
I think so. You're going to go the dark jersey or the white jersey?
You know, I might get the alternate, because I don't know. It's time to replace mine.
I have so many of the dark jersey. I only have the Miko in the white one. I might get the white one for Blackwood. We'll see. I don't know. All right, let's get to our sound check. And this is where Kyle and I pick one song each that summarizes the most recent game. Put these songs up on a playlist over on Spotify, which you can follow along with. Just search LOA Soundcheck Volume number 4. What do you got for this one, sir?
Wins make me happy. I don't know how to tell you any other way. When we win,
sure,
I'm in a good mood.
Yes.
You know what song puts me in a good mood? By the band Save Ferris.
Oh,
The World Is New.
What a band! What an album!
Yeah,
that thing is.
Just if you don't know this song, when this hits the playlist, just pull it up and let the intro just carry you into just bliss. That's what I'm feeling after a 6-1 over Minnesota. Mild rivalry, like Drouin's back, good looking team, swagger going into Winnipeg. The world is new, the team feels new. Blackwood is the real deal.
You're gonna make me go back and listen to that whole album now, because I like that they got big because of the cover. Like they did a cover of Come On Eileen, and which is a great cover. And so I bought that album, and I listened to that album from beginning to end so many times. And now that you threw that out there, I can almost guarantee you I'm gonna have to go back and just have some nostalgia. Fantastic album. That's a great song too.
It used to sit in my CD player during my skateboarding days.
So good. That's perfect. And where I'm going kind of in that same time frame, I think, but different genre. Everybody knows this song. You just felt like this was what you want the Avalanche to do. So that's why I'm going with Montel Jordan.
Oh my God.
This is how we do it. Because this is how we do it. Like this is what you want the Avalanche to do. This is what they should do. This is how they do it. Montel Jordan, this is how we do it. I mean, it's one of those songs where it's like the first note. You just said wins put you in a good mood. This song, when you first hear this is how we do it, puts you in a good mood. This is maybe one of the best like tandem sound checks we've had. These two songs are fantastic for this back-to-back songs that put you in a really good mood.
And I think we like stole each other's natural pick, like a ska punk, like obscure ska punk, and like you're picking like the 90s, late 2000s, like rap, hip hop, R&B. Yeah. That's kind of like my jam.
Love it.
So
I like it. I put up a tweet on that after that MacKinnon drop back to Miko goal. How they're in tune with one another, and they finish each other's sandwiches. We're the same way. We're just on that level where we know the other's sound check song. So there we go.
We've been doing this a while, brother.
Yeah, man. So, all right, that's going to wrap it up for today and for this week. So, Avs with a big one coming up Saturday, right? Is that what time is that game? Is that a late game? Is that
no? That's I think it's early for us.
It's a 7 Eastern game, so it's okay. I mean, usually when they're playing Winnipeg, it's like those 10:30 games. So that's fine. So
a double cup of coffee night.
Yeah. So all right, we'll be back on Monday to talk about that and anything else that happens in Avalanche land. So make sure you're tuning in for that. But for this, thank you for making it your first listen of the day. That's always appreciated. He is Mr. Shaggy Von Doom, Kyle Sullivan. I am Chris Maselli. This is the Locked On Avalanche podcast. Have a good weekend. And you got through another 24 hours where Sidney Crosby is that much closer to becoming a Colorado Avalanche. This is how he does it.